Hello, welcome to Musical Minutes number 13. I'm Carol Cowan, Director of Music here at IUCC. We'll start with the trivia question again, which is, what are the names of the organ's manuals? Is it the great, the swell, the choir, or all of the above? And the answer is all of the above. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about what the organ does and what it looks like. It's kind of an intimidating instrument with a lot of bells and whistles on it, lots of draw knobs and tabs. And I'm going to take a little bit of the mystery out for you and show you a little bit about what they do and play a little bit to show you how it sounds when they're on. And then I'll go through and I'll play a hymn and I'll change all the stops for each verse for the hymn, and then you'll be able to hear what they all do. Okay, when we look at the organ here, our organ is a mid-sized organ that has 3 manuals. Now, most churches will only have 2 manuals, which would be a great and a swell, and then larger church organs like Third Presbyterian downtown has an enormous amount of stops and tabs, and they have, I think, 4 manuals. So they would have a great and a swell and a choir and maybe a positive, which would be the name of a 4th organ. But we're a mid-sized organ of 26 stops. It's a pretty good size organ for a church. Most organs are smaller than ours, so we're really lucky here that we've got a nice sized organ and pipes that are tuned regularly, and the organ is well taken care of. So we're really lucky here to have an organ like this. If you look here, this one is our great, and then our swell is up here, and our choir is down here. Now, the great stops are right here, and these tabs mark the great stops. So there would be a principal 8, and then you see the numbers here underneath the names of the pitches show how long the pipe is and what kind of a sound you get. Now, if I pull out the principal 8, and the principal is just a foundational stop where you get most of the action comes from. And that's an 8-foot stop, meaning the pipe is 8 feet long. Now here is a 4-foot flute. And if I hit C here with a 4-foot flute, it's an octave higher. And if I hit this 2-foot flute, it's only 2 feet long, it's 2 octaves higher. But when I put them together, then I have that kind of a sound with 8 4s and 2s. So these are pretty much what we call our great stops. Now you'll notice some that have that are called mutations, and they are your 1 1/3, and there are organs with 1 1/5 and 1 2/3. And what that means is the pitch happens with a sound here and then a 1/3 higher, and they would both play together. And this is when this, I use this for the hymn singing. It goes over everybody singing and usually gets lots of people to sing louder. So it's really a good stop to have. I'll play that on the last verse so that you can hear it. Then these are the swell, the choir tabs. They operate down here. And again, we have our 8-foot and our 4-foot and a largo. This is a good solo stop. And on the first verse, I will use these stops right here, which are some flutes and a string and a mutation to single out and solo pitch the stop. Okay? And then, if you look over on this side, these are the swell stops. Okay, and again, we have our 8 and our 8 and our 4s and our 2 and 2 2/3. Okay, and a trumpet. And this is the solo manual that has most of the strings on it and some other solo stops. And then the pedal operates from here. And then again on the pedal, we have a Borden 16. Now, this would be a 16-foot pipe, meaning it would be 16 feet long. And you hear it? Okay, now I'm going to play you a 32-foot. And this is the pipe that most people don't hear, but they feel. They can feel the room shake, you know. But here's a 16, 8, and a 4 foot in the pedal, okay? Now, there are lots of little knobs here on the underneath manuals, and these are called pistons. And you can see I can press these, and I can have these set for all different kind of stop combinations. And during a hymn, all I have to do is press them, and then I get a different changing sound. So I can go from, say, here, okay, and I can change the whole dynamic of a hymn with just pressing a button. Now, if you look up here, these are called couplers. Now, this is where this will move the manuals around without them actually moving around. Okay, so what happens here is if I have this playing and I want to beef up the pedal, make the pedal a little louder, okay? And then these are just super couplers. These will make them. And then this is great to swell. This means that I can take the swell, whatever's playing here, and add it to the great. Okay, and then I get these stops and these stops on the great. Okay, and then there's a choir to great, which means then I can get the choir stops here to the great, or choir to swell, or wherever I want it to be. And then I can get certain sounds on it. The swell division right here has really, really beautiful strings. And what's really nice about these strings is they're not strident or harsh sounding. They're very, very soft and lovely. And I'll start with, here's a viola. And then added with a flute, makes them just real mellow and really, really beautiful. Then down at my feet are toe studs. And these are pistons that do the same thing as these. And I've got them set so that number 1 up here is the same as number 1 down there. And number 4 here is the same as number 4 here. And then that way, if I'm at a hymn and I can get a hand away, I'll change with my hand. If I can get a foot, if it's easier to get a foot free, I'll change them with my feet. Okay, and then we have, okay, these increase the sound, and only the swell and the choir are what we call under expression. So if I go like this, you can hear the notes and you can see the swell shades. If you're sitting on the left side of the church, the swell shades will close, and that will give expression for the great. The great is not under expression, and if you sit on the right side of the church, the great pipes are up here, and I can't make them softer. They are what they are. And then I have what's called a crescendo pedal, and I almost never use it. I don't really feel it. There are times when I have to use it, but and you'll see the crescendo light will come on. Okay, now there's something else too that's kind of fun to watch, and that is right here. This is called the memory select, and this gives us 30 different choices of memory, which means my stops are on memory 15. So I can do all these different changes on memory 15. When I give a sub stops, I'll give them maybe 7 or 6. So when I give a sub a memory level, they can do anything they want as far as registration for the organ, and it doesn't mess up my stops. Mine are on 15. I think Bruce is on 30. And whatever sub I have might be on 6 and 7. I kind of save those for the subs. So why don't I now, I'm going to play "O Savior, Let Me Walk With You." I'm going to play 3 verses, and I'll play softer, and I'll get a little louder, and then I'll get louder still. And you can hear that mixture stop.